Welcome back to the shop, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the spray foam insulation. We'll also talk about the 2x4s a little bit, just the studs that we put up and the bracketry that we use. We'll just cover that real quick for a couple questions that I've got with it. So let's get to it. All right, so what we had installed was 2 inches of closed cell spray foam insulation. It is as hard as a rock. It's waterproof, which is really nice, although I do have a couple leaks. I'll let you guys see those. They're the same leaks I was dealing with before, so I've tried some silicone. We'll kind of work on that in the future and see what's going on. So let you know that stuff will not completely seal the building. I did silicone a lot of the stuff and then had spray foam go over the top of that. So we only have really 2 leaks in the shop that are around the windows, so I'm still working on those. But man, it has made a world of difference in here, temperature-wise, sound-wise. You can run the air compressor. You can still hear it outside, but it is a lot quieter, so now I don't feel as bad running it around with my neighbors and everything. As you can see behind me, you've got the electrical box, the wiring that is not going to be behind paneling and stuff that they've spray foamed over, also down below with it. Like I said, this stuff is, I love hitting it. It's solid as a rock. So let's take a look around and give you a little bit better look at what we got going on. Well, right off the bat, I'm going to let you know that a lot of this has been covered up with pegboard due to the price of plywood at the moment. But let's take a look at this spray foam. Have those lights turned off because it's really bad for the video. But you can see the ceiling up there and studs. These lights along here had to come down because of the way that they're hung when they did the spray foam insulation. Now, the other lights that'll probably wash themselves out, I was able to leave those up and they covered those for us. Some of them got some insulation on it, but it's not bad. So these had to come down, just like I said, there's a lip up there, and we took everything down, the chains and the lights with it, so that way we could cover everything up, and then went back and hung the lights up. I did have to, a couple spots I had to cut into the insulation just a little bit, just so that the little hooks on the end of the lights would hang, but that way we had the lights back up there. And I like the angle that they're at, so I want to leave them just like they are. So we were able to do that. And like I said, the overhead lights, we were able to leave those because I actually wanted the chains covered in insulation. In the future, if I ever need to take the lights down, I can just cut the chains off where they're at with it. But again, same deal with the fans. We had the fans up there and they covered them up really well. Kind of just see a look around of it. Again, there's the other fan. And this is above the doors. And I have been up there and saw behind the doors, and it looks great up there. You can see how thick it is up there. We'll come back down here where the insulation is. You can see all the wiring and stuff that was up there is now covered too. And this is the wiring over the electrical box. Now, a lot of this will have coverage over the top of it once I decide what I'm going to put over here. It may just be drywall for this section. I'm not sure yet. And there's the wiring coming out of the panel itself. We'll get a little bit closer look at what we saw in the video over here. I had to stack the boxes here because I put the smart switches in and they made them too deep, so they're going to stick out once we finally get it covered in. But a good look at the foam and the track there. Again, you can see some of the electrical going into those has just been completely covered. That's the bottom of the box here. It's the furring strips that I added in, which I want to talk about real quick. So the furring strips, I added them in this corner, well, along the door here, the roll-up door, and then also there's one on both sides of that beam, which you can't quite see there, because when we put the, well, I put the pegboard up, but I knew that once I put everything up, once I was ready to put the walls up, there'd be nothing to attach to over here. So I added furring strips at the corners where there would be something to attach to, as you can see there. So again, it's the same over here. But I had that all done before the insulation was put in. So there's the bottom rail you can see. And these furring strips were just screwed directly into the metal here with some wood to metal screws. They go straight through the furring strip and then into the metal frame here. And it does that all the way out. Of course, cut and put different pieces in there. So I wasn't looking for any structure or anything on these, just have something to attach. And again, you can see the furring strip there. So I've covered a lot of it in pegboard. Like I said, just because of the fact that it was a lot cheaper, so you can't see as much. I'm sorry I don't have a good shots of around the window. If I have any pictures, I'll try and, of when we had the insulation in. I think I have some that I can actually put in so you can see just kind of what it looked like before all that was done. They did paint over, spray foam over some of the beams, so they had to go back and they scraped them off for me. So, but that's really not that big of a deal. Also, go back over here real quick. You can actually see some of this. Like this sticks out. What I did was I just used the oscillating tool on the other spots that I needed to and just cut this right off smooth, even, so that my boards would fit fine. No problem at all trimming this stuff up once it dried. Like I said, it dried pretty quick with it. So let's look over here real quick, because this is another panel that's not done yet. That's the plug for our fan, and you can see the 2x4. You can't really see from there very well because I'm not that tall. The brackets that I used at the top, they're L brackets that I got from Lowe's. Those are screwed into the metal post, and it's the same way all the way around. They're screwed into the metal post, or the metal frame, with some metal screws, and then they screw into the board with some 2-inch wood screws. And then on the top of the 2x4s, what I did, and again, you probably aren't gonna be able to see it real well because it is covered, I put, I believe it was 2.5-inch screws or 2-inch screws at an angle on both of those going up so that attaches to that stud directly. I was looking at putting some longer screws straight through, but I really don't feel like it needs it. I think that's actually sturdy enough for what I need with it. You can see the wiring, some of the spots that they had taped off and took off. There's the plug. And again, this one has not been trimmed at all, so once I get ready to cover this, then I'll put the trim on there. So, tire machine's in the way and the cord reel. You see it's the 220 for the welder. Get that tag out of the way for you, so you can just see how it's sprayed. So if you have it done, you'll know kind of what you're looking at with it. So you can see our fan up there. I was able to leave it in. I unplugged the wiring completely, so it was out, went in and disconnected it up above, and then they taped off and then foamed that all in, so it actually looks like somebody knew what they were doing when they sprayed it in. So the other thing you can kind of see here, let's take a look real quick over here. You can see a little bit of the outlets for the lights. They covered those up also, mostly. They missed one of them, but it really didn't matter. It's been fine. But they covered those and sprayed all around that. They did unplug the lights. You can kind of see a little bit of the foam up there. So again, a little bit more of the ceiling. So this corner over here, I have not covered yet. Basically, I've got the pegboard to there because I'm not sure what I'm going to put back here yet. So this gives you a little bit better view of the 2x4s. You can see where they're exposed on there even after the foam was on. You've got the outlets here. I can't get down to the bottom rail very well because we've got motorcycles here, but let's look in there just so you can see. And again, this will give you a little bit better view of those studs, maybe. I don't know, you can see the exposed studs on there. Again, they're 24 inches on center. And you can see the furring strips there in the corner that are screwed in. Again, every corner has those if there was anything to screw to. So again, 24 inches on center on the studs, L brackets on the top studs, and then each 2x4 has at least one L bracket down at the bottom, holding it into the metal itself. Some of them have two. If I'm not a great carpenter, so if there were some gaps sitting in the wood, I went ahead and added an extra L bracket at the top. So there were a couple extra L brackets that I had. I bought extra because, well, I didn't count well, so I just utilized them. So there you can see the light over here. And I have covered, like I said, this whole section has been covered. My one sheet of plywood that I bought months ago. So we'll come here. So around this window is where I've had water leaks in the past. And I can tell you that right now, sometime overnight, It's the first time, it's been quite a while since we had the insulation, but we really haven't had that much rain. So I am having water coming in. I don't know if you can see anything. Most of it's dried up down here, even with the rain at the moment. So I do need to find that out. So I'll have to pull this panel down and figure out a way to seal it wherever it's at. I thought it had been sealed really well. I put the metal up over here because this will be the welding area, and I don't want sparks or anything being able to get back to the insulation with it. I still need to trim this, put some sort of trim so that it looks a lot better, and get curtains with it. Same thing with like the 220 plug. This stuff was a little bit harder to work with. It's the first time I'd mess with it, so I'll fix that up somehow with it. But you can see the insulation sticking through there. I don't want that to be exposed like that. So again, you can see the foam over here in the corner. Maybe that'll give you a view if you want to see that. You can see the outlets up here at the top again. All right, so my thoughts on the insulation. It has been amazing. The only real downsides that I have found for me so far have been that when we got it installed, which I knew was coming, everything had to come out of the shop. So like I said, they were able to let me keep a workbench in here and the air compressor, and then I had one other cart that they were able to just cover and do, which I really appreciate them being able to do that with. It saved me a lot of time and effort being able to move everything in and out. So I had a couple friends come over. Shout out to Stuff with Cletus, who came over and helped me move a lot of the stuff back into the shop after the installation was done, because I just wasn't going to be able to move the lifts and that stuff back in by myself. So thank you very much for that. Again, the insulation has just been amazing. The temperatures in here have just been awesome. We have not had a 100-degree day yet. Really, we haven't had anything above 80, but even when it was around 80 with bright sunshine, it was extremely comfortable. The walls, the highest temperature I've seen in the sunshine was 70, and that was just coming out here with no air conditioning on at all with it. So it's just been amazing to be out in here. Most times it's cold outside or cooler. I won't say cold, but I can be in short sleeves and shorts and have no problem at all working in here. Like I said, the sound in here has been amazing. It is a lot quieter than it was. It is not house type quiet. You can hear the music. You know, when I play music, you can still hear it outside, but it is so much better. I can run the air compressor now without worrying about bothering the neighbors. Again, you can hear it outside. It's definitely, they know that it's running, but it is nothing like it was before, where it was just, you know, you felt bad for your neighbors because of the fact that it was running with it. So that has definitely helped. And a lot of the noise is going through the roll-up doors, which are not insulated too. So in the future, that'll be done when it gets hot enough to deal with that, but there's no reason to mess with it right now. So as I've said, I really do love it. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. Even for $4,000, which is a lot of money, it really has made a world of difference, and it's going to help so much with the heating and cooling and just the overall comfort in the shop. But it's going to make that air conditioner work so much better, and the heat when the winter comes back around with it. Because of the fact that I have a heat pump basically with the mini split, I will need some sort of electrical or a heater in the wintertime when it gets really cold, you know, making sure I don't freeze anything in here, chemicals and that kind of stuff with it. So you know, I'm not sure what else I can say at the moment. If you've got any questions, please let me know below. If you want to see some more pictures, I can go a little bit more on that too. But again, I highly recommend it, and you know, you will not regret doing it. I can tell you that. So be sure to like and subscribe to my videos. This will probably be the last one for a little while in the motorcycle dream build series with it, as the shop is up and running. So I may update it a little bit with some different projects and that kind of stuff. I filmed a couple of videos, but they didn't come out very well. So that's why you haven't seen the video for a little while, other than the total cost, which I'll put a link to in here. Just because of the fact that I've been filming and haven't been doing very well at filming them, so they're very shaky and messed up. So, but I'm working on it. You'll start getting some more videos, and we'll get some motorcycle content, and you know, we'll talk about some of the tools along the way as we do that too. So, if you've got any questions, like I said, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and you know, check out what we've got going on. So there'll be a lot more exciting stuff coming up with motorcycles. So Thanks for watching. Have a good day.